Good Things, Delmarva.
Good morning. I'm Lenita Wesson, and you're watching Good Things Delmarva, a show where we take a look at all the great things happening in your area. So we start this week talking about your grocery store visit and how to make the healthiest choices for your family. Kathy Wool is a dietitian with the Worcester County Health Department, and she joins me this morning to talk about an upcoming grocery store tour. How exciting is that?
Pretty exciting.
Grocery store tour. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and for highlighting such a great opportunity for people to come and learn something about shopping.
I mean, I am always in the grocery store, and I know so many people with families, and you have to eat. But the big thing is making the right choices, I guess.
Yeah, you know, it can be mind-boggling in there. There's over, what, 450,000 foods to choose from. And, you know, one thing about a grocery store tour is we try to highlight the things people should be buying or, you know, maybe kind of trying to trend that direction. But people also come to the tours with their own insights into what they've learned in the grocery store. And I think it's a very didactic situation. They teach me something I don't know because we all shop differently.
Okay.
But it is an enlightening experience for most people that there. And it takes about an hour and a half to really get through it.
Well, I mean, even when you go in with your list and you're getting the things that you're getting, whether they're healthy or not, it takes time. So imagine if you are going through the aisles. So are we picking up things and you're kind of saying, okay, is it a game? You give me a choice. Is this the better choice or is this one? Or do you have some concrete suggestions based on your experience as a dietitian of what we should be
Well, typically I do. I highlight the main aisles that I think are important for people and where they spend most of their time. We really stress shopping the perimeter and trying to get them to do that. But a lot of time in the produce aisle, really looking at what's available, looking at budget, looking at what kinds of things they can purchase, how to plan ahead for their menus, so whatever they purchase, they use, rather than buying things and then having them sit in the refrigerator and not be used. We spend some time with label reading, and then I do some games. I'll ask them, like in the bread aisle, find your loaf of bread and tell me if it has at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber in it, because they think it's a healthy bread.
Right.
And they'll pick it up and then go, oh my gosh, it only has 1. And so then we read some ingredient labels so they can get used to looking at what ingredients are and what they're looking for. And so really looking where the main items people put in their baskets every week are where we spend a lot of time. Going down the potato chip aisle is not probably
you
where
zoom through that one, do you?
We try to skip that one as well.
So people, if they want to take part in the tour, do you come with what you normally get, or is it we're just starting from scratch kind of thing? Like, do I bring my list and say, well, Kathy, these are the things I think I'm needing in my pantry, and then you kind of or no, don't do that. Just show up.
I encourage people to take a card if they want to, and certainly shop as we go along, because there may be some things they learn and they go, gee, I might want to try that. Most people come just to see what they're missing, what they're not sure they're doing. And of course, I try not to push my ideals on them. They don't have to eat like I eat, but I do try to steer them towards if they're buying something that's maybe high in saturated fat, high in sodium, and maybe there's an alternative product that's pretty equivalent, and why not take that? But I'm always conscious of the budget. I don't want to push them towards anything that's going to cost more. And you get a variety of people from a variety of walks of life. And so, you really have to be cognizant of what people are really looking for, and trying to do education at the same time, but honoring the way they eat and trying to steer them in that direction.
Well, the good news is a lot of companies, we did a story just recently where Nestle is taking some of the artificial flavors out of things like Hot Pockets and like their DiGiorno pizzas. And we've done a story a couple of weeks back where other companies are trying to get rid of some of this processed stuff. So I think everybody's getting the message here that we need to do a little bit better.
And I think that's why it's good to concentrate on the label. Some people don't even know what they're looking for on a label. And we can turn a label over, look at calories and look at fats. And if you're knowledgeable in that, that's one thing. But I think you can probably learn a lot just by looking at ingredients and knowing what kind of order they're in and what your goals are in terms of a healthy food choice, and maybe what your chronic disease situation is. Because you will get people with diabetes, people with high blood pressure, and those people tend to want to know all about the thing they're focusing on. So you have to be comprehensive, because sometimes, you just have some young people that want to know something about raising their children and what they're going to pick. So, get to know your audience as well, which you have to do everywhere, and then kind of guide them. And I would guess by the first 2 or 3 aisles, you know what you're supposed to be doing with the group you have.
And so listen up. We are taking you on a grocery store tour, and we're zooming through the chips and the cookie aisle. So just get that in your head. When is the tour?
The tour is next Tuesday at the Walmart in Berlin.
Okay,
so that'll
and
be
what time?
It's at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's free, and I say it takes about an hour and a half to go through.
Now, just so we're clear, the tour is free. You do not get groceries for
No,
free from the Walmart in Berlin, but you do leave with a wealth of knowledge and information
Hopefully.
on how you should be
Yes.
shopping. Now, what's your biggest surprise normally as a dietitian in terms of what people do or don't know about their groceries and what they're putting in their bodies?
I think the trend lately is really looking at gluten. You know,
Yeah.
they're so worried about gluten, and you try to really stress that, you know, that's really a thing that people who have a certain disease shouldn't eat, and not them for weight loss. But weight loss is the big focus. It's not, I don't hear a lot of, I just want to learn to eat better. It's more about, I'm trying to lose weight, am I doing the right thing? So I think those two pieces of information are where I see most people sort of gearing towards when they walk into the grocery store with me. So.
My husband's probably laughing because my daughter was having some tummy issues, and I said, well, maybe she's got gluten issues. And he's like, what in the world is this with this gluten issues? And you know, it is, you hear stuff, you pick up on stuff, and you never know. But it turned out to just be a stomach bug, and she's fine. And
so she can have the gluten
She can
again.
have the gluten in her diet. So.
Well, and because a lot of those products are more expensive, and so you don't want people to be thinking they have to have them for weight loss. And I spend a lot of time with trying to not only focus on labels and what's in the ingredients specifically, but how much people are eating and how big these bags are and cans are and buying for a family. So you're kind of doing a grocery store tour nutrition intervention where it's kind of on the sly. They maybe don't know they're getting that information, but I usually get good feedback, so I think they're enjoying it.
And we actually, coming up later in the show, you're doing the grocery store tour, and then later we're talking to Somerset Wellness Center, and they're going to talk to us about cooking and eating. So we are helping you get healthy today. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
with us.
See you on Tuesday.
All right, there you go. Stick around. We have more good things, Delmarva, after the break. We'll be right back.